Good
We're
morning,
live.
everyone. We are live now. Good morning.
Awesome.
Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday. Happy early Saturday.
So I'm here with Candance of All That and More Boutique. My name is Heather, and I'm running for City Council. And a main focus of my campaign is making sure that we connect with our small businesses and give them the tools and the means that they need to survive, especially after this pandemic. Small businesses are something that's I
Yes.
think super prevalent in Culver City, and we're very lucky to have. And you guys are the backbone of the economy. You know, you guys are what make Culver City so great. So, Candance, if you'd love to share some about your business, we'd love to hear from you.
Sure. My name is Candance Simmons. I am the resident stylist and owner of All That and More Boutique. And I have been located here in the Raintree Plaza. I wanted to say tucked away or nestled here in the Raintree Plaza for a total of 10 years. I am a Black woman in business and I give platforms to designers, soap designers, handbag designers, dress designers. Any small business that has a great product or service that I think my clients would benefit from, we have given them a platform to launch their businesses, to serve the community of Culver City and beyond with their products and services. So it's been an amazing journey for me over the past 10 years.
That's awesome. I love your look in there. Anybody that's ever been to Candance's boutique, it's super cozy and super well lit, and she's a great stylist.
Thank
So
you. Yeah, that's the one thing we wanted to focus in on when we opened. We wanted to give a Beverly Hills, Melrose, Culver City experience in the Culver City area. So Beverly Hills is great, but we thought our Los Angeles, Inglewood, all the neighboring areas should be able to experience that without having to go that far or have the price points that we know that Beverly Hills can bring. And our goal is to help women enter a room with confidence and great fashion. So, complimentary styling is something that we offer every time you visit. And as our name states, all that and more, we carry sizes 00 to 22 because we don't want anyone to walk in and feel just because it says boutique that they can't experience a boutique feel, look and feel, as you mentioned, Heather, in our Culver City area.
yes, I love it. I love it. So how has your business been during this COVID time?
Well, like many of my neighbors, we had the same experience as a long closure. So we shut down, I believe it was around the 15th, and we were not able to reopen until sometime in May. So there was like a 2.5 month period where we had to pivot and our business had to go from bricks to clicks. My audience, the women that I serve are mature women, 30 and up. And so we love an experience. We want to touch and feel. We want events. We want to share. We want to engage. And so that was completely cut off. So I had to work to shift my business to online and help my Mornistas, that's what I call my clients, not fashionistas, because they're mature women that shop for their body type and their lifestyle. Fashion trends are not something that they really follow. So I had to kind of shift my Mornistas into going online opposed to coming into the store. And Heather, you and I both know that the pot of gold was toilet paper.
Yeah.
And I wasn't selling toilet paper at the time, but the fact that my clients still found a way to support my business and check to see how things were doing, how the business was doing, how I was doing, and place our orders online. It was heartwarming because during the pandemic, the priority was our safety, and none of us really knew what was going on, and it was changing from day to day. And, people
Right.
were losing their lives during that time. So in terms of shopping, it wasn't a priority. And the fact that folks still found a way to support my business, it was amazing. I'll never forget it.
That's really special. I mean, I love when I watch your lives, when you go live on your page and you're talking about, giving yourself the confidence and, just because you're on Zoom doesn't mean you don't have to look good and getting dressed. And I was like, that's so important.
Yes.
I've continued going into an office, but I can see
Wow.
my friends that aren't going into an office and they're like PJs all day, and I'm
It's
like,
right.
come on, get some clothes on, look good, feel good, and I think that message that you're spreading is so important right now, and
Yeah,
people know that they're not alone, that we're all in this together. And
we're not. And being honest, I mean, the first 2 weeks of March, I didn't know what to do.
yeah,
But I knew that it was going to pass, in which I thought it was going to pass in a very short period of time. So
right.
the last 2 weeks of March, I slept. I was tired. as a, as
Yeah,
a, as a small business owner, you are at nonstop. You're marketing, you're engaging, you're purchasing inventory, you're supporting your team of associates. You're just doing so much. So you're pretty much on 24/7. So initially, I was like, I'm going to sleep. This is bad. I'm going to sleep. So I took that needed break. And then going into April, that's where things started to, look like, okay, this is serious. It's lasting a lot longer than expected. And how are we going to survive it, as a small business owner that's not offering any type of protective equipment. It was really challenging to try and figure out what's the next move. How do you pivot? How do you shift in business, being a retail business and being considered as a non-essential business? That was hard to hear. You're non-essential. You're
yeah,
not essential. And it's like, well, okay, in the overall scheme of things, I'm not, in terms of health, safety, food, shelter, I get that. But at the same time, as you mentioned, small businesses are the heartbeat of a city, any city. And to hear that you can't open your business, your doors must remain closed, you cannot go in unless you're doing something that's essential or critical to your business, was really, hard to accept, knowing that, your lease, your mortgage, not your mortgage, but your lease payments were still required and you could not open your door. That was really challenging. So it was hard.
yeah, I bet. I think, especially after that first month, I don't know about you, but I consider you an essential service, because after a month or so, people are feeling down about
Yes.
themselves. You bring that ray of light. So, um, good morning, Rafia. Rafia is saying hello to both of us.
Good
Good
morning, Rafia.
morning.
Yeah,
Um,
Raffia Jewelry is one of the designers that we carry here. So it's a beautiful thing when you can connect with creative designers in the community and carry their products in your business. And
that's one
why?
of the things that I love about your story is not only are you, in our community and you're helping, men and women in our community feel good, look good, do all this other stuff, but you also sell clothing and jewelry and everything from other local people. So it's this great little circle you have going of
Yeah.
ensuring that not only your business, but multiple businesses in our city are succeeding.
Yes.
You know?
My thing is, I look at growing up in South Central LA, there were so many things that you just saw on television that you thought, wow, what could I ever do in my lifetime to walk the red carpet, to, be in a position where you can help others grow in their business, where you can promote other people beside yourself and create a platform. So after transitioning and leaving corporate America after 25 years, and saying to my husband, hey, can I do what I really love? And it's shopping. He's like, really? Are you going to make money? I'm like, yeah, that's the goal. But to open up in a great location, I've always wanted to live and do business or own a business in Culver City, to open up a space and to say to myself, well, what can I create that I know women and men would enjoy? So, from red carpet events where we get to roll out the red carpet, we get to pop up on a backdrop and take pictures and have a photographer say to the right, to the left, chin up, all of those things.
Yeah.
It's just great. And when the pandemic hit, knowing that we were getting ready to celebrate our 10-year anniversary and we couldn't give those things back to the community that has brought us this far, you have to accept it. We went virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a virtual celebration, and my clients appreciated, they thought it was creative, but yet the energy, the vibe of the store, the people coming in, the laughter, the hugs, and all of that, that wasn't there. But it was the same amount of effort put into the event with the backdrops and
Yeah.
all of that and the cameras. So, it's a really interesting time for small businesses, but we do what we need to do to move forward in this new environment. I won't say new normal because it's not normal. It's a new environment.
That's right. And I know that you're a member of our wonderful city chamber of commerce. So what have they
Yes.
been like for you at this time?
Well, if you think about their mission statement, and they are, champions for strong neighborhoods, they are catalysts for business growth, they're connectors of resources and people and ideas. And in this moment, in this pandemic, they have gone beyond that. I have never felt so informed and so connected to what the city is doing, or that I needed to do in my city, based on things that are changing, at a presidential level, at a county level. The chamber has provided, ongoing updates, emails, virtual connections, virtual forms that, like I said, I slept probably for 2 weeks, but in those 2 weeks,
Right.
something called a COVID-19 roundtable came up. And I said, oh, I guess I better be there. Let me get dressed so I can click on that button and listen to what the mayor was saying, what the council members were saying, what the governor had said, and how that was going to impact us. Learn all these new initials: PPE, IDLE, and PPP, and
All the
so
different
the
acronyms.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, all these different acronyms. But the Culver City Chamber has been a front runner for me, and the information that they have shared has been like the lifeline to my business. It has informed me, and in some cases, the information that I received was disappointing, but I still knew it. I needed to know this information.
Mhm.
So they have shared information, whether it was good news or disappointing news, but it was information that I needed to know in terms of how to shift and how to pivot my business. They have
Right.
also created virtual events. So I think I shared with you early on, I'm not a morning person. So they have a good morning. I sing that from the hilltops. That's why I was like, if you want me anywhere after 11, I'll be there. But if it's really important, like today, I'll get up, but I'll nudge you a couple times and say next time.
Right.
But no, they continued their events, like the Good Morning Culver City Breakfast, where you can still connect with other business owners. Those morning breakfasts were great to know that you're not in this alone. That there are other small businesses that had not received a loan, a grant, any protective equipment. They were in there with you, and so you kind of felt like, okay, it's not just me, and they're managing to still show up, so I need to continue showing up. They
Yeah.
also, what I thought was amazing, they also partnered with other chambers. So the Culver City Chambers worked with LA Coastal Chamber, another chamber, I think out of San Fernando Valley. And I've seen the chambers come together and really sound the alarm for small businesses in terms of how we're being impacted, what our needs are, what things could be relaxed, and they've asked us, what do you need? How can we help you? Did you receive a loan? Are you planning on moving forward? Can your business sustain this? Just where are you? So they have been, our ears, our sounding boards, our informer, and again, I can't say that. They have not been there for me. They continue to answer the phones. I get emails weekly, sometimes 2 and 3 times a week. And then they created, if that wasn't enough, they created a combo with the mayor on Fridays. So we can speak directly to our mayor and ask questions of him. And he's so open, he's so informative. And even if the answer is no, you know why it's no. You know what the challenges are. And so those things have been invaluable during this time.
Yeah, I know. I talked to some other businesses, and they said very early on, they tried to call the city and tried to figure it out, and they were looking for answers. And of course, when your business has been shut down for this long, every
Mm-hmm.
day counts. And one of them said they went like 2 weeks without a return phone call from the city. She said, and then I called the chamber and I left a message. Within 20 minutes, somebody got back to me and answered the question that I had waited 2 weeks to find out about.
Yeah.
And it just kind of solidifies, one of my main talking points has been our chamber,
Mm-hmm.
our eyes, our ears, there are boots on the ground,
They
you know,
are.
and it's a really, when you combine properly, it's such a valuable tool for both the chamber and the city, because when we can
Mm-hmm.
connect and talk to each other, we can say, what do you need? How can we help, and how can we support you? Because at the end of the day, if your businesses fail, our city fails,
Yeah.
and nobody wants that.
It it doesn't feel that way though, but we
Yeah.
hear it. But as a small business owner, especially in the retail sector, it
Mhm.
has not felt that warm and fuzzy. You hear the saying, which I'm not hearing as much. We're in this together, because for some reason, that thought, that thread has kind of disappeared, or it's fading.
Yeah.
But yet we're still in this. I'm still wearing a face mask,
Right. Right.
bracelet. Yeah, we're still in it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of people, because I know you're over in the Raintree Plaza. I've talked to some of
Mhm.
the businesses up and down Washington, and some of
Mhm.
the ones that are, smaller and in Fox Hills. And a lot of them have said the same thing, that the city, they feel like they've done a great job with downtown. And they were so excited, yes, this is going to help us all. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then downtown sat, and slowly but surely they realized this isn't coming to me. Things
Mhm.
aren't the same. There was so much focus, and I think people thought that this was going to continue to be forward progress, and it just kind
Mhm.
of stalled out. And so one of the things I've been trying to ask businesses is, how do you think the city can help you? What can we do to help you? Because, like I said, if you fail, we fail.
Mhm.
Every business that closes due to this. I mean, it's hard, but we should be taking a good long look at what happened, so this never happens again.
Right. It's an interesting question. What can the city do for you? So when this whole pandemic happened, I personally felt no one knew what to do, from all levels. Everyone was trying to figure it out. And then I really knew, what's a priority is shelter, food, and safety. So those are the things that I think are a priority. And I think we've gotten a handle on some of those things, but they're still, out there. But it's like, those three balls are up in the air and they're being tossed. And now you have to turn and look at your community and say, you know, what else? What's the fourth ball that we throw in there? And it seemed like that, you know, restaurant ball was always up in the air. But when it came to the small businesses and the retail sectors, and there's certain sectors that are still closed, that have not opened up. So I'm thankful to be in a space where at least my doors are open for
Right.
a level of capacity. So those are things that, you know, I don't take for granted. And I think the city of Culver City has been extremely responsible to responding to what the county says we can do.
Right.
So, and I appreciate the fact that they haven't become more restrictive than what the county said we can do. And so I appreciate that. Um, I think early on they started relaxing things for takeout and pickup, parking, and you know those types of things, and those were great. You know, as a resident of Culver City, that was great. They extended our business taxes and allowed us to pay our business taxes later, which again I think that's great.
Mhm.
One of the pieces that I would like to see and would have liked to have seen them do more is for small businesses. As a small business, as I mentioned, there are some small businesses that couldn't get any funding, whether it was the PPP or whether it was the EIDL. There's no funding for them, but yet they were closed three, you know, sometimes, you know, longer than that, months with no funding, no money coming in. And as a small business owner, money comes in, money goes out, you know, in terms of our profit margins, whatever business you're in, your profit margins, you know, can be smaller, can be larger, but money comes and goes. And when you just shut that off, how do you survive? You
Yeah.
know, and it's of no fault. I mean, when you've done something that impacts your business, you're like, okay, yeah, I did that. And now I gotta, you know, figure this out.
Yeah.
But we had nothing to do with this, as many of the residents that are impacted as well. Employment, you know, those, everything, there's an impact to everything. But when you go to your city and they immediately say there's no funding for grants,
Right.
you're like, wow, okay. And then there were various grants that, you know, a very large chamber and various companies are coming out with grants, and individuals are coming out with grants. And when you put in your zip code for eligibility and it says you're not eligible based on where you chose to do business, you're not eligible because Culver City is not seen as a city that would be struggling or that would be economically challenged, but yet you type in your information and there's no funding for you. That's really hard to receive when your city is saying, hey, we have no funding. What else do you want us to do? We're not, there's no money. And so it would be nice, and there's still time for our city to partner with companies. I mean, you hear about these big companies coming in, you know,
Yeah.
the Amazon, the Apple, the Googles, the TikToks, all of these companies where you know those companies, you're a big company, you're a big retailer. I mean, Amazon boxes are pretty much paving the streets like gold. You know,
Yeah.
everyone whispers, I need this, Amazon, you know.
Right.
So it's like, you know, as a city, it would, there's opportunities there, you know, to partner with large companies to support what we're told. Hey, small business owner, we value you. Show us that you value us. Help us in a way that will impact our bottom line. And then American Express, Small Business Saturday,
Mhm.
and there's there was very little done in this theme that you've been running for 10 years, Small Business Saturday. Small businesses are struggling, not just in Culver City, but and funding is what we need. It's not, it's almost like toilet paper. I'm not going to give you any toilet paper, but I'm going to give you a stock of lettuce. Who wants the stock of lettuce when you need toilet paper? You
Right.
know, the small businesses, they're in need of funding. And I think as a city, there's an opportunity to have formed the relationships to look at it, to say, what can you do? to support the small businesses in a way that will impact their bottom line. And let's say you've exhausted all avenues and those relationships aren't out there and folks aren't responding. Then what can you do to drive business to the small businesses? Letting them know that we're open, even if it's 25%, even if it's curbside. We're not asking you to approve that, we're following all the protocols, which if we're open, we need to be.
Right.
We're just wanting you to say, hey, help us drive business to our location. Let folks know that we're open. There is this restaurant Friday, takeout Friday. Why isn't there a Shop Small Wednesday or Shop Small Thursday that the city is singing from the hills to go shop local, go support local? Keep the revenue in Culver City, but there's just things that the city could do. And even on a small scale, reaching out to small businesses, the chamber has continued to send emails saying, how are you? Here's information. We would love to see those same types of things from our city. How are you? You paid your business taxes. Thank you. Do you need a face mask? Send us a letter with something that just starts that conversation to say that, hey, we value you, we appreciate you, and here's something that we know that you're in need of. If you can't give us funding, at a minimum, look for what you can do to help drive business to our location, to help educate us on a continuous basis as to the things that are changing. They've done great in terms of, their putting information out there. I'm on an email list from the city. I get constant updates from the city. However, I would love to see more to where there's an impact to the bottom line of small businesses. And as an individual, there have been city officials that have come and shopped here at All That and More Boutique. So again, those are things that impact our bottom line that our city, could do more of. And so my question to you, Heather, is what do you think the city should be doing for small businesses?
I definitely think there should have been a lot more outreach, a lot more communication. I think the chamber really stepped up right away. And like I said, I think that at minimum, the city should have contacted the chamber and said, let's partner together. Let's do this together because like I said, the chamber has so much information and they're so involved,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been answering calls of businesses that are like, hey, I'm going under. What can I do? And they're answering all of this, and it would have created a perfect opportunity to dialogue,
Right.
And to reevaluate, hey, while we're talking about this, what's something, in the next year or two that you're going to need from us?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about raising business taxes. Do you think we should pause? Do you think that we need to leave it where it's at? What can we do to help you? And I understand that the mayor is doing a wonderful job.
He sure is. I mean,
Chamber,
yeah,
I
he
mean,
is.
he's a wonderful guy. But I definitely think it should have been all of them. And we've been focusing on so many other issues. And every time I hear about, all these other issues that we have going on, I'm not saying that they should pause, but, take time each council meeting. How are we going to help our businesses, in the next 2 weeks? How are we going to help them for the next month? What is our plan going forward? And I haven't heard any of that. And that's something that as we're thinking about taxing homeowners even more, as we're, reevaluating different tax structures or budgets, I mean, that's something that definitely should have been evaluated, is how we're going to help our businesses, because like I said, you guys are it. You guys are our economy, and we depend on people shopping here. We depend on, people living here. And if we have a disconnect and we're not connecting with you, then I feel like we're not doing our job, and that's something that I think that we need to get better at, is, the communication. I feel like, if you were downtown, You felt fairly communicated with. There was some frustration with, the way things were set up and when they were set up, and some people were upset, and rightfully so. But it just proves even more how crucial, that communication is. There should have been an immediate outreach, when the PPP information was coming up. What a great time for the city to partner with the chamber and say, hey guys, we as the city support you. Tell us what you need. How can we help? And I just feel like it was such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, and there's still businesses that are closed, so there's still a need. I mean, there's still a great need for, and still a great opportunity for the city to do more as it relates to small businesses. The PPE equipment is still in need. There's still a need because offices haven't really opened up.
Yeah.
And the one thing that really stood out to me is the feed cover.
Right.
Feed Culver to me was huge. And I heard the mayor say, we have to keep it simple.
Mhm.
And, they were able to quickly work with the Exchange Club and connect with restaurants and say, hey, what is it that you'll need to do something like this? And food has gotten out to those that are food insecure. And I know Rafia and Jeff were sharing recently that I think $3,000 feeds 300 people, but they're feeding on average about 250 people a day. So there's still a huge need for, the food, and there's still a huge need out there. It has not gone away. So these are things that still need to be addressed. I mean, they haven't passed yet, because the other thing that I appreciated that the city did was working with the landlords and leasing,
Yeah.
and putting those evictions on hold. Because I know in our Raintree Plaza, it was something that I shared with my landlord to say, hey, here's what the city has said, here's what they have, what kind of concessions are you making? So that did come out early on, and it was something where we were able to work together on as it relates to our lease here. So that was something that they did do in a timely manner that I appreciated.
It's really important because a lot of people, at first they were like, how am I going to pay my lease and my employees, and, and still have money to, feed and clothe my family, and that struggle. I mean, everyone's going through it. So many people have lost their jobs, and, the businesses are struggling. And I think it's, an invaluable tool there, to say, hey, we're going to help each other, but we know that we need to, stretch this out, and we know that we need to work together to make it work,
Right.
and I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and there was still so much happening in the midst of the pandemic, because even during the time of protest, I thought the city responded well to that. And the chamber, again, kept me very much informed, as well as the mayor, in terms of what we needed to do for our businesses
Mhm.
to avoid, being impacted even further.
Right.
So
Yeah.
again, it's been very challenging, and what I have to say is that I knew if my community, the women that I serve and the men that I serve, if the city said, hey, there's no funding for you and things need to still take place, if my community would show up for me, I would continue showing up for them. And that has been another strong factor as to why my doors are still open, why the lights are still on,
Mhm.
is my community being the women that have found value in the services that All That and More bring to their life. So as you mentioned, it's essential. My
Yeah.
community made me feel that my business was essential to them, because they still found ways, in addition to meeting their everyday needs,
Mhm.
to shop with me. I even had some wild ideas come up that were, they're like, you need to switch your business model and go from selling this to that. And I was like, no, I'm not selling
Yeah.
special things that folks need. I
Yeah.
don't I don't want to carry different size depends and things of that. I don't want to switch my business model and become a
Right.
grocery store. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But when my clients said, hey, the facial masks are not going away, and I did not want to get it into that business, I did, because they said, we need them to match our outfits. I'm like, okay, now you're talking. I can go deeper into a relationship that I already have
There you go.
and get the facial coverings. And again, the community that I serve has shown up for me. The
Mhm.
chamber has definitely been a lifeline to educating and informing, what my business needs are, the things that I needed to do.
Mhm.
But the folks that I serve, my community, they have kept my lights on and kept my doors open because they found creative ways, to support my business.
Yeah. So speaking of supporting your business, um, can you show us, some pieces? Like what you're wearing. I love what you're wearing. So
Thank you. So I'm going to try not to make you dizzy. So I'm going to adjust my camera and go up higher. Okay. And I might even turn the light on. How about that?
good.
Let's see. So this piece that I'm wearing is one of my favorites because I showed it on my video with heels, but I know no one's putting on heels these days. So today I'm wearing it with tennis shoes.
Feels so cute. Yeah.
It's a tie-dye piece that has come in many colors, and it's a very comfortable fabric, and we carry them in sizes 00 to 22, and it's made by a woman local designer, so that's why things have been able to turn around pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And they actually deliver to our door, so I haven't even had to rely on UPS or the post office because they've been driving things directly to our location. And I don't know if you can see this from afar, but it also comes in black. Let
Uh-huh.
me let me get one.
No worries. I love that the dress has pockets. I think that was the selling point for me the other day on your video. It was like, oh, that's so cute.
No,
And then you
it
flipped
has
it into the pocket, and I was like, oh my gosh, it has pockets.
yes,
you know,
it has two pockets,
I
and
love it.
this is the same piece in the black and gray that we showed last night. And as I mentioned, it comes with the matching facial mask. So we're all coordinated here.
That's so unique. I haven't seen anybody else that has matching masks to dresses, just you guys.
And we started these, my clients started asking for them in, I think it was April. So
Mhm.
we've had them as early on as April.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that I always talk to my clients about is, being stylish, but also being practical. And this is one of our number one selling handbags because it is a handbag, but it quickly converts into a backpack.
Oh, how neat.
So, right now with the pandemic, you want your hands free, if you are touching things, but it also converts into a backpack.
Oh,
So,
that's so cool.
yeah, it allows you to be hands free, do what you need to do. Oftentimes, you're probably transitioning, balancing a laptop, an iPad, a cell phone, and then you need to go out and get essentials, right?
It's so
And
true.
for our men, hold on.
Rafia says she loves the dress.
Oh, yeah.
I do too, Rafia. I think it's a great dress. It looks so comfy and
So for our men, the men, when we started making the face mask for women, they were like, well, what do you have for men? So these are actual face masks that match ties that, men would be wearing. So I know that was one of the things that Colin said to me. Okay, Candance, when are you coming out with something for men to
right.
match their ties? So I was like, bam, Colin, I got you.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so unique, you know?
So yeah, it's another company. They're not local. This company is out of New York, but can't you see this in a tie print? You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, these are all more for men, more so than women. But you know, women, we would definitely try and wear them as well. And then, what else should I show you? Let's show you some jewelry.
We love jewelry. Rafia says she's going to come get one today. Yeah, anybody that wants any of Candance's dresses, masks, or if you just want to go say hello to her, the address of her shop is scrolling by on the bottom the
Yes.
screen.
I
So,
don't know if you can see these, but these are handmade pieces by Raffia, and these are all of like the zodiac signs. And during our 10-year anniversary, I was able to reach out to Raffia and ask her to make one that said Mornistas. Can you see it?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so she created, I think it was probably four
Mhm.
for me that actually said Mornista. So again, the beauty of working with local designers is that they're shipping and you're able to work with them to customize pieces specifically
Right.
for your clients. So we are also doing something where we're clearing the racks for our fall pieces because during that March timeframe where generally our fall pieces would be on sale, we were completely closed. So
Right.
now we're trying to catch up and get into fall again and make it through summer. But a lot of our
Yeah.
a lot of our coats are they're 50% off.
Wow, and that's great because I mean it's so hot now, but you know you'll be ready for winter. For
Yeah, so you've heard that saying, you know, buy your summer coats, buy your winter coats in the summertime because they're on sale. they really they really are. So like a piece like this, which has the embroidery and it also has pockets,
love pockets.
and it's a swing coat, you know, so it's very loose and free flowing. So these are buy one coat, get the other one 50% off. So it's a great time to shop with a friend if you don't need two coats. So those are, oh, I got to show you this piece. So
Okay.
we also, um, we focus on things that are comfy, casual, classy with an edge, but we also offer things that they're statement pieces that you can wear again. You know, as you have upcoming events, you know, we want to do something special, but oftentimes we get stuck with that special dress that you wear one time. So
Right.
we try and bring in pieces that are, again,
Oh,
they're
that's so fun.
statement pieces that you can wear again, you know, when we can go out to weddings and things
Yeah.
of that nature. You could definitely wear this to a wedding and then wear it to like a cocktail party or, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So we don't just focus on comfortable pieces, we also focus on comfy, casual, classy with an edge.
Yeah. And if
So,
I can just add, you know, I when I was getting ready to start running and start doing more of these videos, I actually visited with Candance,
yes.
and she helped style and talk to me. And one of the things I want to share that you shared that you did so well with me is, you know, sometimes all of us, you know, we focus so much on our own flaws and we're like, okay, this looks great, but I see X, Y, Z, and it's something that somebody else doesn't necessarily see. And you not only make people look good, but you give them confidence in themselves, you know, and you talk to them about how to wear things and how they can repurpose it. And I think that's something I don't see anybody else doing, you
Mhm.
know, and I commend you. Your shop is fantastic, and if you haven't been there yet, everyone should go.
Yeah, I have to share my inspiration for that. I mean, growing up, my parents were from the South. My mom and dad moved here when they were really young. And if you're from the South and then you're in California, but you spend your summers in the South, you know, and so my grandparents, you know, they had breakfast, lunch, supper, and dinner for me.
Yeah,
And city kids, we didn't have that. And so they would tell us when we arrived on the scene, oh, you guys are so po, meaning we were so thin and we looked like we hadn't had a really good meal.
Yeah.
And my cousins, I was like, so does that mean you guys are rich? If I'm po, does that mean you're rich? So I have been a size, I think a size zero and now beyond. So having to transition in those various sizes and going in and knowing what it feels like when you have, lost weight, you're all excited. When you gain weight, you're so disappointed, and then try to go shop for an event or something like that. So I really try to avoid anyone having an experience where it's not uplifting. Retail therapy is when you have those aha moments where it actually fits or it's smaller and things of that nature. So we work with designers that cut for real women's sizes. So I love it when someone calls and says, hey, I love that dress you're wearing. I think I'll need a large. I'm like, no, you'd actually need a medium. They're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, yes, really. Because our pieces are cut really full and there's a lot of room to, accentuate your curves or
Mhm.
hide a little dimple or a little expression that you don't want everyone seeing. So we really work with our clients when they do come in. If there's something that they're choosing that I already know based on their body's height is not going to work for them, I try and steer them in a different direction. Yeah,
Yeah.
because who wants that to go in and go, oh, I can't have this. And again, one of the benefits of working with local designers is if you come in and it doesn't work out for you in that size, if it's early in the season and the manufacturer still has the fabric, I can order one in your size.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it just takes some time, but it's there.
That's awesome. Well, Candance, if people want to come to your shop today and come see you and buy some of your wonderful pieces, what are your hours today?
So we are open today from 11 to 7, and we're generally open Mondays 2 to 6, and the rest of the week 11 to 7. So this coming Monday will be closed to celebrate the Labor Day, weekend, but they can come on out anytime today from 11 to 7. They can mention they can mention you, Heather. They can mention the Culver City Chamber. They can mention Small Business Saturday, and we will take 10% off their purchase. And we just really enjoy doing what we do here in the city of Culver City. I moved to Culver City almost 20 years ago, and I came here as a single woman because I wanted an environment where I would feel safe.
Mhm.
I was working in Orange County, so I needed to live in a place where I can leave early in the morning by myself, come home late in the evening. And Culver City has afforded me that lifestyle, coming and going, feeling safe. Here in my location, I've only had maybe I've had one big incident that the Culver City Police responded to in a very, timely manner. And anytime I've had an issue, the response times have been amazing.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a city that I love to own a business in.
Mhm.
I love to live in. And I understand the history of Culver City and all the dynamics of it. I just would really like as a city that we do better for the small business community, that there's more that's done as it relates to, police brutality, that those things are definitely things that we as a city pay attention to.
Yeah.
I think that there's an opportunity to make changes, but I don't think those changes should be deep. I would hate to see anyone lose their life or their income as a result of changes that are made quickly. I think there's always an opportunity to come to the table to discuss what those issues are and to work forward in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if someone is in need of something today, let's not take 5 months to address it. Let's
Yeah,
not pretend that it's not happening. Not pretend, but let's not see it happening.
right.
And right now, small businesses are suffering. When I go on my daily walks, I see the Celebrity Cleaners that is closed, that has a new lease sign. In
Yeah,
the Raintree Plaza, there's 3 businesses that have not been, that have been closed prior to the pandemic, where folks have not moved in.
yeah,
And there's at least 4 businesses that have not been able to open since March. The nail shop had 1 week where they were open and then they were closed.
no, so hard.
There, yeah, there are other great, amazing businesses like Queen Bee that have not been able to open. So there's so many, and also I have to give a shout out to my nail salon because it's a secret, is a one-on-one nail salon experience that opened for 1 week and she's been closed ever since. So as a city, we're just asking that you guys really look at, if small businesses are the heartbeat or it's the backbone or however you want us to believe that we are, help us feel that way.
Yeah,
Reach out to us, connect with the Culver City Chamber, connect with the individual businesses. And really, if you can't offer funding, find a way to drive businesses to increase an awareness within the community that we are here to serve, and that you really value us as a small business.
absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. I mean, it's so important for all of us to be talking. And, one of the things I keep saying is I think a lot of the frustration in this city is there's been a lot of talking, but so little listening, which is part of the reason I wanted to do these chats. Your experiences in your store and all the other stores and salons and everyone, when I talk to you guys, there's always something that you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get that information when you just talk. A dialogue is people talking but also people listening, and that's so important. And it's one of the things I think that um, you talked about CCPD. I think that's one of the things that they're doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
They're listening. They're every day they strive to be better. They strive to do better for their community, and they actually listen.
Yeah.
I just hope that the dialogue between everyone, CCPD, between the businesses and City Hall, and all around everyone, I hope that we all take a moment to listen to each other, to learn from each other, and to grow as a city, because that's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah, if you've ever observed Colin in a meeting or in a open environment, he's an amazing listener.
He is.
I don't know how he does it. I mean, there have been times where events are taking place, and I've shared in various forms when I first went to a mixer and he became president. I waited, pulled him to a side and told him pretty much all the reasons why I was not joining the chamber. Like, you guys don't do this, and you don't do that, and you don't do this. And I've been told this and that. And he listened and he took note. And then he said, there's so many things that you mentioned that I agree with. So, right there, when he didn't deny it, he didn't
Right.
try to dispute it, he said, I agree with. He said, and there are things that we are going to implement immediately, like ambassadors. And he said, so, I appreciate your feedback. And within a week or so, an ambassador came to my door, wanted to know what I was looking to do, what my business needs would be. But that night, I went home and I told my husband I met the president of the Culver City Chamber,
Mhm.
and I want to join to support the mission that they have and what he's looking to do, because everything that you want to do, it requires support. So
Right.
I know the things that Culver City, as a city, that we're asking for, that they need support to make it happen. But there are willing volunteers that will work with you to make those things happen. And that's what I've seen Colin do, is pull people that are interested and willing to impact the changes that need to happen. I've also seen, the mayor do it as well. Um, I don't want to butcher his name, so that's why I hesitate to say it. But Mayor Euron Erickson, I can say the last name all day long, Mayor, and he's an amazing listener too.
Mhm.
And he gets small businesses. He knows he has a small business,
Yeah.
so he listens and he implements, and that's what we need. We need you to listen and implement because we've been saying the same thing forever. So to hear us and do nothing, it feels like you didn't even hear us at all.
Right.
So,
Fair enough. Well, I wish you well and thank you for joining me this morning. And
wait, Heather, I want to know. So, what are your plans? What are you planning to do? What are you going to do as you're running for office? If
so
you're in office, what would be your first call to action? What would you tackle?
my first call to action, like I said, I think it's a dialogue. A lot of what I've been saying is we need to, listen to each other and we need to work this out together because I am not a small business owner, but I feel for you.
Mhm.
Small businesses are literally the dreams of my neighbors.
Right.
Um, we all live, we all work together. It's a team effort for sure.
Hmm.
And I want to listen and I want to see what would work for you guys and how we can implement it. Because I think sometimes people go into this and they have all these, wonderful ideas and they think it's going to work out great and, it's going to be the best thing ever. And then you start implementing them and the businesses start flailing and going, wait, you're hurting me.
Hmm.
This doesn't work for me. And I think that going in and being able to listen to people like you and to the other businesses that I've spoken to and listening to Colin in the chamber, it's a really great way for me to hear you guys,
Hmm.
to see your ideas, to implement your ideas, because at the end of the day, you know, you're the people that this is impacting,
Hmm.
you know, and I think that that's my greatest contribution to this is I don't have an agenda. My
Hmm.
agenda is to help, so I want to be that voice for everyone, and especially our business community as we start to open up more and as things start to slowly, hopefully stay open for good. You know, I mean it when I say we're definitely all in this together. This is a community effort. It's a team effort. There's no us versus them. There's no right, no left, no up, no down. This is us. This is our community, and we all have to work together to make it a better place. So I think starting that dialogue and working heavily with the chamber and our businesses is going to be something that we must do from day one. We really need to get in there and we need to do some damage control. And we need to get this working a lot better. And I think that's probably the first thing I would do is say, let's set up some type of, community meeting, whether it be WebEx, Zoom, or even, like this on the live show. I mean, just something that says, we're here. What do you need? How can we help? And then, get the city council to talk about it at their next meeting and saying, hey, we had this roundtable on, let's pick today, on September 5th, we talked to the chamber and to these businesses and, what they said they're lacking and what they need is, it would just change the entire dialogue.
And
And
how do we make that happen?
people like me um, in order to make that happen. And we need to reelect, Jorn has been a great champion for small businesses.
Yes.
So I would say definitely listen to candidates as they're talking.
Hmm.
And most of all, pay attention to how they listen. Are they going to listen to you? Do they have these ideas already planned out? And if so, do they work for you? If not, be vocal about it.
Hmm.
I think all too many times, during elections, people talk a good talk and then they get elected and, you see them in council chambers and you're like, that's not what you said, that's not what you're going to do. And it raises the level of frustration.
Right.
And I definitely don't want to do that. So You can visit my website, heatherforculvercitycouncil.com, and you can read more about me. But also, I am super approachable. So I have a phone number up on my Facebook page. If you message me on Facebook, I get back to you within a couple of hours. I've had people call me out of the blue during the week, and even if I'm in my office at work, I still answer the phone and I say, hey, I'm at work right now. I love what you have to say. Give me your phone number. I'll call you back.
Right.
And I think that's really what's lacking, and that's what I'm trying to do through my campaign. So,
Awesome.
yeah, and I hope I have your support. And I hope that some of you watching will support me and go support Candance today at All That and More Boutique. Her address, like I said, is scrolling on the ticker at the bottom. So, and she does have a website if you don't want to leave the house. So, thank you for joining me today. I know you're opening now, or you opened a minute ago. So
yes.
I'll let you get going, but thank you so much for joining me this morning and for doing this. I think it's great to just have a moment set aside to sit down and dialogue and listen.
Well, I just want to say, I wish you all the best in your run for councilman in Culver City, because I think anytime you take up a position of service and you have no agenda other than to serve, it is truly a blessing that, you're able to do that and that you have a heart to do that. A lot of people go into it with an agenda, and to hear that you don't have one, and, we'd want to see that. Going forward, we need transparency, and we really need folks that are in position that, they have a position, but not an agenda. Take a position.
They're two separate things.
Yeah.
So
it's really important, and I applaud you for even, jumping into the race at this time. There's so much going on, and it's a different race in terms of how you're able to engage with the community. So the fact that you're going online, that's great. The fact that you're talking to small businesses, who have been hit and have been impacted, that's great. And again, I thank you for allowing me to come on to your platform and to showcase my business and to talk about the issues that I've had. And I just pray for all the small businesses that are out there, that we get a voice, and that voice is heard, and that there's change that's made, because there's still an opportunity to make change. This is not over. Right. We still need help. Despite what was done, we know that it's never been done before. You've never been in this position before. The people that are in place have never had to face things like this. So let's put that aside, and now let's address what's still present. Small businesses still need assistance.
Absolutely. And I think this is going to be, this is a process we have to be in for the long haul. This isn't going away overnight. So I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
All right, Candance. Well, thank you so much again for joining me, everyone. If you want to visit Candance, her address is scrolling by on the ticker at the bottom. Her website address is there. It's allthatandmoreboutique.com. And again, I'm Heather Woolen, and I'm running for City Council. And if you want to learn more about me or my campaign and get involved, you can go to heatherforculvercitycouncil.com. And Candance, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a great day today.
You too.
I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.